Welcome back to the Peacock Brothers channel, and today we are going to be diagnosing 9 of the most common wakeboarding mistakes we saw in 2023. Let's go. "2023 was a huge year for us, and we ran a multiple number of different coaching camps around the world. In the coaching camps, we run video analysis sessions where we film the participants and we basically give them detailed feedback on the mistakes that they've made. Now, over the course of the year, we've collected and compiled the majority of these video analysis clips, and today we are going to take a look at some of the most common mistakes. If you guys want to join a camp in 2024, make sure to head to the link in the description and you can see where we're going to be. Cool, so let's get things started. Mistake number 1, standing too tall. Now, in wakeboarding, the key for good balance is always making sure you stay nice and low. One of the most common problems we saw was when people were trying new tricks and they would automatically extend their legs. Now, when your legs are completely extended, you're going to find that it's very difficult for you to balance on your board, especially when on features. By staying nice and low, you're going to have a much more stable center of gravity, and it's going to make it a lot easier for you to stay on the board. The second most common mistake that we see is people having a bad relationship with the handle. Now, what exactly do I mean by this? So, when it comes to wakeboarding, obviously with the handle in your hands, this is going to be responsible for generating a lot of rotation, and you can actually move your body a lot by using the handle. Now, the key is really making sure that you want to have a nice balance between holding the handle strong and moving it from side to side, and avoid pulling the handle in. From these clips, you can see that when people begin to pull that handle in, they're either going to slip backwards, their body's going to move super far towards the handle, and it's going to create a lot of slack. So really just taking the time to develop a good relationship with the handle is very, very important. The one tip which I always give people is to really focus on keeping your arms strong, but not pulling on the handle. You don't want to be pulled over by the cable, but equally, you don't want to be pulling yourself up towards it. Developing a good relationship with the handle is key for cable wakeboarding. Mistake number 3 is dropping the chest. When wakeboarding, we really want to try and keep your chest up. This is going to allow you to really use your legs and to maintain that upright axis when we're on the board. For a lot of people, when we see them going for their first spins, it's a very common problem to see them breaking at the waist and dropping their chest. By keeping the chest up, we're going to be in much more control of what's going on the board. The fourth most common mistake we see is having locked up hips. It is very, very helpful to be able to independently move your hips and your chest separately to one another. This is going to help you in a lot of different situations out there in the cable park. By learning to loosen up your hips, it's going to be much, much easier for you to get into different lip slide and board slide positions. You're going to be able to improve your blind landings, and you're also going to be able to do much bigger spins from the kickers. To learn how to completely unlock your hips in the cable park, make sure to head on over to our Road to Pro course, where we're going to be breaking down all the different types of foundational skills which are going to really help you to improve your riding. You can check that out in the link in the description below. A real common one that we saw last year was the frontside 180s. Now, the key with the frontside 180 is really making sure that we can understand how to land with our weight slightly over our toe side edge. As you'll see from the clips, it was very, very common for people to land with weight all the way on their heels, they're gonna slip out and land on their back. So the key with the frontside 180s is really making sure that as we come off the top of that kicker, we're gonna bring the handle across to the other hip. We're gonna get that leading shoulder over the toes so that we can land with a little bit more weight over the toe side edge. And that's gonna allow the tension to hold us up better for our landing. Now, this doesn't just apply to frontside 180s. This applies to any kind of trick which you're going to be landing with your switch foot forward, whether it's a 540, a 900, 315, you name it. If you are coming down with the other foot forward on that side of the cable, learning to get your weight over your toes and being confident landing with that foot forward is going to really help you to dial those landings. Leading on directly from the frontside 180 is the frontside 360. The first most common mistake with the frontside 360 we saw was just trying to reach for the handle pass with one hand. You'll see in some of these clips that the riders let go very early, which then makes that handle pass incredibly difficult. It's super important that when we come in for the frontside 360s, we've got two hands on the handle. We're going to extend the arms before the kicker. At the very top of the kicker, that is when we're going to pop, pull strong with two hands into the hip, then we're going to pass the handle and spot the landing on the way down. It's crucial to make sure that you pop and pull at the top of the kicker. If you try and pull early, it's going to also make it very difficult to land the frontside 360. Next up is the tantrums and the toeside back rows. We saw hundreds and hundreds of attempts of these toeside back rows and tantrums last year. It's very important on both the tantrum and the toeside back row to really focus on keeping your leading arm locked in line with your leading hip. As you can see from the clips here, it was very common for people to rotate 90 degrees and land in a board slide, or they're going to land on their back coming round from the rotation. The reason this happens is because your brain actually tells you you don't have enough height to get the full rotation in, and therefore it tries to protect your body by using the handle to get you into a much safer position for a landing. Obviously on your first attempts, this is absolutely fine to just get the feeling of the trick. But as time progresses, you might find it frustrating that you can only land on your back or your butt when doing these tricks. The fix: really focus on popping and generating power from the top of the kicker, allowing you to leave that handle locked in line with the leading hip for you to bring your foot back underneath you to land it and ride it away clean. Another tricky one was the backside 360. Nailing these backside spins can be a little bit difficult, but with the right technique, it is going to make your life much easier. Lots of people really trying to pull the handle to generate the rotation. Now, the backside spins really requires you to have a good understanding of how to generate momentum using your body. If you can really focus on edging into the kicker, extending the handle a little bit before, and then you can use that back arm to swing yourself into a rotation. You're going to have a much better chance of getting the backside 360 by using this method as opposed to trying to muscle that handle and get it round. You can also practice this just by doing some surface spins on the water. Really learn how to use that arm to generate rotation, and then once you're comfortable with it on the water, you can take it onto the kicker. Now, of course, one of the most requested tricks for us to teach is the Rayleigh, and we just couldn't make this video without touching on the most common Rayleigh mistakes that we see. Now, the number one problem that we see with the Rayleigh is not understanding how to use their edge correctly. Very frequently, we saw people, when it comes to the release part of the Rayleigh, simply break at the waist, their board goes flat, and they try and jump into the Rayleigh. The key to nailing the Rayleigh is really making sure that we've got a a strong body, our heels are pressed deep into the water, arms are locked, and that we're really using that heel side edge to press deep into the water and then release us by doing that full scoop. Now, the Rayleigh definitely can be a little bit of a tricky one, and if you plan on trying it this year, why not check out some of the videos we've made here already, or you can check out our Road to Pro course as previously mentioned. But there we have it. Those were some of the most common mistakes that we have seen in 2023. Looking forward to spending some time with you all out on the water this year, and thank you guys for tuning in. Please consider subscribing, giving us a thumbs up, and we'll see you guys in the next video.